So on Republic TV today, we have a very special guest. Many of you have read about her story, her achievement, and the turn of events after that in the UK. Rashmi Samant is joining us live on Republic TV this afternoon. Rashmi, thank you for joining us. And I also have Pandit Satish Sharma, who's a Hindu philosopher and a yoga acharya, joining us live from London as we talk about the story of Rashmi Samant. Just to let our viewers know a little bit about who Rashmi Samant is. Hails from Udupi in Karnataka, a graduate student studying MSc, recently made headlines, was elected as the first female Indian president at the Oxford University Student Union. She received a majority of the votes, over 1,960 votes compared to the 3,708 needed. And she had highlighted the need for greater decolonization and inclusivity on campus in her manifesto at the Oxford Student Union leadership election. A few days later, Rashmi was forced to resign from her post. She terminated her social media presence and essentially she was targeted. Rashmi, we've read with great shock the story of what happened at the campus and all of those people who targeted you, but we'd like to hear from you firsthand about what you've had to go through.
Well, I think this time last month I was campaigning for my election. I ran on a very beautiful platform of decolonization of the syllabi and to remove the imperial statues on campus, statues of slave owners which are still around, in the guise of philanthropy or in the guise of having their legacy preserved. I won the election to become the first Indian woman in office, and then it was just chaos everywhere. I was discredited, bullied, and effectively cancelled, ultimately to my resignation. There was a vicious attack from all fronts, and there were some anonymous messages social media platforms, on my Facebook Messenger, on my Instagram. They didn't even leave my official email ID from the Oxford University. So there were spam emails from all kinds of hateful communities even there. So I was forced to deactivate my socials for the sake of my sanity and resign.
And who targeted you? Who are these people who targeted you? And there's so much being spoken about this cancel culture. I want you to tell us and our viewers a little bit about who these people are and what their problem essentially is with Indians, nationalist Indians.
Well, I don't know who these people are because mostly they were faceless, because I think they do take pleasure in being anonymous and in hounding people from behind, anonymous screens. Basically, they are just keyboard warriors, and the sense of anonymity gives them a lot of strength to come out more viciously and more maliciously than they would otherwise. Essentially, this group, I don't know how big or what the demographics is. They trawled through my old social media posts from moments after I won the election, and they grossly misrepresented the captions, and there was a huge smear campaign against me on that basis. It initially started from a few, anonymous tweets here and there, and then it started getting picked up because, these tweets were literally misinterpretation and they were very provocative. An apology was demanded, and then when I finally did make the apology, it was deemed unfit by the same group, and I was pretty much cornered into resigning. But what is appalling is that even if a few students chose to be anonymous and bully me, there was a faculty involved in this matter. A man almost twice my age and has had an academic career as long as my age, literally. Maybe he's had an academic career that spans literally my age, and he found it suitable to stalk, harass, and publicly defame me because I'm a Hindu. My home state was dragged into it. The university where I pursued my bachelor's degree was dragged into it. And to make it worse, my parents were the topic of the entire discussion there. I cannot believe that a man capable of harassing a student like that is even supposed to be a teacher at a tier one university like Oxford or any university or school for that matter, and continue to hold that position despite everything that's come to light.
And Rashmi, you left London in a hurry, didn't you? You packed up and you
Yeah.
came back home.
Well,
Were you
I was
forced to do
scheduled.
that?
I wasn't forced, I was cornered into doing it. You know, bullying has this effect on the psychology of a person, and it's very difficult for others to understand because, you know, until it happens to you, you don't really understand because you're the singular person that everybody is cornering at the same time. And to the person who's trying to corner you, it's just that one person trying to corner you. But the person getting cornered is getting cornered from every side. So I was basically mentally demoralized because I have no family in the UK. I just have a few new friends, you know, friends I made 5 months ago, and they're very supportive. Let me be honest. My department was very supportive, but I guess the bullying got so vicious that I tried to leave. I won the election on Thursday. I tried to leave on Sunday, way before my resignation, because the bullying had gotten so much worse. But as we know, during COVID times, it's very difficult to, you know, fly out without a negative PCR test, and all centers were closed and my test was terribly delayed. So I ended up flying only on, I think, Friday.
Okay. Now, from what I've been able to gather, you know, from what you're saying and from all the reports that I've been reading ever since, you know, you came back home in a hurry, is that essentially you were targeted for your views on decolonization and for refusing to hold the view that colonization was a positive experience for the indigenous people of the colonies. Am I correct? Am I reading that correct?
Well, I was asked a question that why do you seek decolonization when it brought about globalization, without which billions more would be in absolute poverty. So I think from that, what I can infer is that there is a severe, you know, condemnation of my pursuit of decolonization. And it's just not that. I feel like the targeting happened for a range of reasons. It was just not that. People, you know, in various groups, they just found their pick to go at me. So it was just not decolonization. Some of them found pleasure in my old social media posts. Some of them, like the faculty, found pleasure in my religion and posts that my parents had made. And some others went as far as harassing people, you know, tagged in my photos on social media just because they are my friends, or, you know, they know me. So it went as far as even targeting them. So people found their pick to go at me. It was just not this or that. So it was a bunch of things, maybe because of their inherent biases, but it was a bunch of things, and people just convinced themselves to just go at me.
Yeah. Pandit Satish Sharma ji, now there seems to be a pattern to such incidents, and Rashmi Samant is the latest in that pattern. Now, do you think she was singled out and targeted?
Well, good morning, and thank you to Republic for taking this issue on. It's very important. There is indeed a pattern, but what I've also noticed is that there is an escalation, and the escalation is really what concerns me. There's no doubt that she was targeted and she was bullied. At the student level, this is perhaps acceptable. There's a very robust tradition of argument and student politics in Oxford. But there are a number of things that this issue has brought out. One, exactly as she has said, the faculty member in a position of power has acted in a manner which is hateful, and that is completely unacceptable. And I'm happy to be able to inform you that we have been in touch with the police authorities and an investigation has started. But my concern also is that over the last few years, I've seen the same core faculty within Oxford, whether it's this individual or other individuals, cancel very much more prominent people. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy was cancelled, Rajiv Malhotraji was cancelled. This is the third time that I have now witnessed a person being cancelled specifically because either they are from a notionally colonialist background, but more specifically because they are from a Hindu background. And in this case, the remarks that this particular faculty member has made they're deeply worrying. I would really be concerned about allowing him to be in contact with any Hindu student. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that his past interaction with Hindu students and their academic career should be reviewed, and his future interaction should be closely monitored. This is clearly a very unhealthy, unstable individual, and the university has a duty of care to protect its students and to make sure they don't have the horrific experience that poor Rashmi ji has had.
Yeah. And what is the Indian community doing? And we know we have a huge support base in the United Kingdom and especially London. And how is the Indian community addressing this issue?
Well, I'm delighted to say that because of past experiences, we're all quite sensitive to what happens in Oxford. And my own eldest son was a student at Oxford and did his studies there. So we are familiar with it. And there is a core of Hindu activists and community activists who are aware of what goes on. We have gathered together. It's unfortunate that this COVID circumstance prevented Rashmi ji from taking advantage of the networks that would otherwise be available. And we are going to do everything we can to make sure that once she does return, she really must return. The university environment and experience that she returns to must be safe. Not only safe, it must be a very enjoyable and productive time for her. But I think there is a bit of a journey that we have to go through to get back to that stage. And we are pressing the Oxford University authorities to guarantee that her experience will be very, very positive.
Well, happy to hear that. Rashmi, how are you coping with this? And how do you plan to fight back? I'm sure you're getting a lot of support from India and Indians across the world. How do you plan to address this, taking it forward?
Well, that's absolutely true. There's been an outpouring of support from everywhere. And I have filed a complaint with the university, but they're yet to do something. And I'm looking at all perspectives that can be pursued to make sure that this man will not do the same thing he did to me, like that another Rashmi will not be cancelled tomorrow, or another person from Udupi or India for that matter will not be stopped from taking the position of president one day. So it's been good to be back home. I think Udupi has that effect on people. It's a lovely place, and good food and the warm weather has definitely been a lot of help.
Well, let me tell you one thing, Rashmi, we're all very proud of you. And everyone who's read about your story, has heard about your story, and who knows you personally, very, very proud of how far you've come, irrespective of the negative experiences in London. And hopefully, we will all fight together in this battle. Rashmi, all the very best. Look forward to speaking to you at some point in the future as well. And Pandit Satish Sharma, thank you for speaking to Republic TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.